You woke up this morning. Before your feet hit the floor, before the coffee kicked in, before you opened a single notification, you were here, breathing, present. That's not nothing. And if we're being honest, part of you probably woke up tired. Not just body tired, tired of being in the middle of a story you can't fully see yet. Chapters still open, questions still unanswered. And part of you just wants to know how this season turns out. I get that. I woke up feeling that same pull this morning. But here's what I want you to hold on to before this day gets loud. There's a word buried in today's scripture, one single Hebrew word that doesn't mean what you think it means. And when you hear what it actually says, it's going to change how you see everything about this season you're in. We'll get there. But first, let me tell you what happened at my kitchen window this morning. I was standing at the kitchen window, hadn't even poured my coffee yet, and there were birds at the feeder outside, just doing their thing, not stressing about what the day held, not scrolling headlines, not wondering if they were behind on something. Just eating, being alive. And I stood there longer than I should have, because something about it felt like a sermon I didn't know I needed. I'll confess something to you. My first instinct this morning wasn't to look out the window. It was to grab my phone, see what happened while I slept, see if anyone needed me, see if the world had fallen apart overnight. You know the drill. But something made me pause. Something made me look up instead of down. And what I saw through that window wasn't spectacular. It wasn't some grand sign from heaven. It was just birds and morning light and a feeder that needed refilling. And it was beautiful. Not because it was extraordinary, because it was ordinary. And I was actually paying attention for once. Here's what I think God is whispering to you this morning. You don't have to chase beauty today. It's already sitting right in front of you. You just have to look up long enough to see it. God, we're still waking up, still blinking, still gathering ourselves. But before this day gets moving, we're here. You're here. Open our eyes to what we've been walking past. That's all we're asking right now. This morning, God put something in front of me that stopped me mid-thought. And it's that word I mentioned, the one that doesn't mean what you think. Listen to this. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11. Let that breathe for a second. Now, most people hear that verse and it sounds nice, comforting, something you'd put on a throw pillow or a coffee mug, and that's fine. But here's the part that grabbed me this morning, and I don't think I'd ever noticed it before. When Solomon wrote that God makes everything beautiful in its time, the original Hebrew word he used for beautiful is Yafeh, and it doesn't mean pretty. It doesn't mean pleasant. It means appropriate. It means fitting. It means exactly right for its moment. Think of a puzzle piece. On its own, one piece might look jagged and confusing. But when placed exactly where it belongs, it's Yafeh. It fits. That changes everything. Because here's what Solomon, the guy who had literally everything and still felt empty, is saying. God doesn't just make things beautiful in a general, poetic sense. He makes each thing beautiful in its specific time. The right thing, at the right moment, in the right season. Even when you can't see the design. especially when you can't see the design. And here's something most people miss entirely. Do you know what comes right before verse 11? The most famous list in the Bible. Ecclesiastes 3, verses 1 through 8. You've heard it. Even if you've never opened a Bible, you've heard it. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to tear apart and a time to mend. Solomon walks through every contradiction of human life, the tearing and the mending, the losing and the finding, the silence and the speaking. And then, immediately after listing all that chaos, he says, God makes it all beautiful in its time. Not just the dancing, not just the laughing, the weeping too, the mourning too, the tearing apart too. He looked at every painful, confusing, opposite season a human being can walk through and said, all of it. God uses all of it. And in the end, every piece fits exactly where it was always supposed to go. That's not a throw pillow verse. That's a war cry for anyone sitting in a season that doesn't make sense. But wait, there's a second word hiding in this verse that almost nobody talks about. And honestly, this is the one that wrecked me this morning. The second half says, God has set eternity in the human heart. That word in Hebrew is Olam, and Olam is one of the most mysterious words in the Old Testament. It means eternity, but it's deeper than that. It carries the sense of hiddenness, of something vast that you can sense but can't fully see. Like standing at the edge of the ocean at night, you can hear it, you can feel it, you know it's enormous, but you can't see where it ends. That's what God put inside you. This awareness that your life is part of something so much bigger than what's in front of you right now. That ache you feel, that restless, there has to be more than this feeling, that's not discontentment, that's design. God put that there on purpose. It's the part of you that knows you were made for a story bigger than the one you can currently see. But then, Solomon drops the tension. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. You can sense the bigness. You just can't see the blueprint. And that's not a punishment, it's a mercy. Because if you could see every chapter at once, you'd never learn to trust the author. God doesn't need you to understand the plan. He needs you to trust the planner. I think about my own life with this. When my dad passed away and I was barely out of my teenage years, there was nothing beautiful about those mornings. Nothing. I was handling things no kid that age should be handling. Keeping a roof over my mom's head, figuring out bills I'd never seen before, carrying a weight that should have been split between shoulders that weren't there anymore. And if you told me then, God is making this beautiful in its time, I might have walked out of the room. But here I am, right now, talking to you. And every single thing I went through built the person sitting in this chair. The moves that didn't work out, the jobs that fell through, the nights I wasn't sure I'd make it. All of it was raw material that God was shaping into something I couldn't see yet. If you love who you are today, then you had to go through all of that to get here. Every hard season, every loss, every "why is this happening" morning. It was all being made Yafeh, appropriate, fitting, exactly right, in its time. And if you're not there yet, if you're in a season that feels anything but beautiful, if your life looks more like a chaotic construction zone than a finished home, then hear this. You don't judge a house by its scaffolding. You're not seeing the finished work. You're seeing the raw framework. And scaffolding is supposed to look messy, because beautiful isn't the same thing as easy. Beautiful can mean, I didn't quit on myself today. I let someone in instead of shutting down. I felt God hold me when nothing made sense. I saw a tiny mercy in the middle of a mess. That still counts. It all counts. God is not behind schedule on your life. He's not scrambling. He is making everything, not some things, not the easy things, everything beautiful in its time. Not yours, His. Now, if your brain wandered to your to-do list while I was talking, come back for 10 seconds. This part matters. Before we pray, I want you to do 2 things with me. Just 2. First, name one ordinary thing from today that's actually beautiful. Not dramatic, not Instagram-worthy, just quietly good. The way the light's coming in right now. The fact that someone in your house is still breathing softly down the hall. That first sip of coffee. The fact that you're here and you didn't have to be. Name it. Hold it. That's God's craftsmanship hiding in plain sight. Second, name one thing you can't see the beauty in yet. One situation, one season, one question mark that just feels like a mess right now. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to force a silver lining. Just hand it to Him and say, I trust you're still working on this one. I can't hold what we just talked about without taking it to Him. Come with me. Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, thank you. Thank you that you are the God who makes things beautiful. Not fast, not flashy, beautiful. In your time, in your way, with a patience that puts ours to shame. Thank you for this morning, for breath, for the ordinary things we almost stepped over on the way to our worries, the light coming through the window, the steady rhythm of a heart we didn't have to start, the fact that we're here, still standing, still showing up, still reaching for you even when our hands are shaking. And God, we bring you the things we can't see the beauty in yet. Before you stand up and start your day, one more thing. How does your body feel right now? Shake it out. Just shake off any stress you may be feeling. Now put your hand on your chest for a second. Not as a gesture, just feel your own heartbeat. That steady, faithful rhythm that's been running all night while you slept. You didn't have to manage it. You didn't have to earn it. It just kept going. Faithful. Like Him. That's beauty you carry everywhere you go today. You just forget it's there. Today's anchor, He makes everything beautiful in its time. Write it down. Say it out loud. Come back to it at 2 p.m. when the afternoon gets heavy and the morning feels like it was 3 days ago. He is making everything, including this day, including you, beautiful in its time. That is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11. And that is His still, small voice. If this met you where you needed it this morning, drop a dove in the comments. Just a little dove. Let me know you were here. And if today's message stirred something in you about waiting on God's timing, I did an episode called Tired of Waiting on God that goes deeper into what happens when you're stuck in the middle and can't see the end yet. Links in the description below. Here is one key thought to carry today. You don't judge a house by its scaffolding. God is still building, and He makes everything beautiful in its time. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. If this prayer stirred something deep and you feel like you need more than words right now, please don't carry it alone. Reach out to someone you trust, a friend, a pastor, a counselor. You're worth the help, and wise support is one of God's good gifts too. You're not alone. I'm praying for you.